We're back.
All right, we're back.
It's
And
you
it is
time.
you time. And oh boy,
It
buckle
is
up.
a top tier. It's a
Buckle
lot.
up.
Buckle up.
So, um, the episode
Hold
is
on
called
tight.
Combat Fatigue, and as we knew from the promos and everything, that it is
It's gonna be a
Ma-
lot.
Maddie Flynn's trial, basically.
Yeah.
We started the episode in a way that we've never started one before, and we've never seen this before.
The jury is deliberating.
The jury room deliberating. And
And they've been
then
deliberating a long time. They make it obvious.
yeah, they're like freaking tired. The four-person is going through the um there's like a fishbowl of like papers and everyone like wrote their vote and they're like guilty,
Who's the one
guilty,
person who didn't?
guilty, 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 guilty. And we get to the last person and it says not. And they're all just like, ugh.
We go again.
And it's like, we're gonna do this again. And it's like, all right, who freaking said it? Like,
Who did it?
and then
Oh,
one guy, like this guy
he's
points
really
to
upset.
the girl in the corner of
If
the
he's
room.
had it.
Like, it's obviously her. Or come on.
He's
Like,
had it.
he's had it. Like, they're exhausted. They all want to go home. And at this point, everybody in that freaking room, except for her, realizes
Has
that
made
he
up
is
their minds.
guilty. And he's like, she's like, no, I'm sorry. I don't think he is. And she's like, look, we're exhausted.
Tree.
We want to go home.
They've
And
been
she's
in
like,
there a long time.
hi.
They didn't say how long, but it's been a long time.
Yeah,
So
basically,
long
it's
that
like,
this guy, one of the people, is worried about getting paid for their job. They're not getting fired because they've been there so long.
yeah. And basically, she's like, fine, I'll say whatever you want me to say.
And like,
And I get like this thing of everybody going into waking up for their
if somebody
mornings.
does a tweet that some of my friends was like, this episode should be sponsored by AirPods.
Yes, apparently everybody has fucking AirPods.
Everybody has
So we
AirPods.
got
I
Velasco
mean, I
going
can't
on.
live without my AirPods. Like, I
Yeah,
carry them around.
Velasco going on his motorcycle, Finn walking downstairs from his apartment.
Yeah,
In a moment that nobody saw coming,
yeah,
Bruno lying in a bed with another girl with a woman.
yeah.
Like,
Whoever this is,
good for
maybe
you,
he's
Sam.
here. He's got
But
somebody he's
also,
keeping an eye over.
where
Like,
did that come from?
he's just looking at his phone. She hasn't woken up yet. They
This book,
obviously they've had a good
he's
time
like
last night.
rolled over, the camera's looking at
He's,
him, bird's eye
yeah,
view, just like
yeah,
looking at
he's
his
like,
phone. And it's like, wait a minute.
obviously they've had a good time last night. But
So yeah, at least we know Bruno has somewhat of a social life, considering we
mhm,
know that he's
divorced.
divorced from a
Oh,
firefighter. So um, and then they got Curry on the elevator walking in with a
she
plate
got
of baked.
Rice Krispies. I think she has Rice Krispies this time.
I didn't see those. I was just like, she's got more baked
I
goods.
think it's Rice Krispies, like Rice Krispie bars. I think it looked like Rice Krispie bars.
And then Creasy's on the phone walking in the court. He's on the phone with Amanda. He's like, yeah, I'll call you tonight. Love you, etc., etc. Like, aw, we get more stuff.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, like hopefully tonight. Yeah.
he's just like it's gonna be pizza
Yes,
night
yes.
again. I hope I don't see
Like,
you
yeah,
tonight.
tell the girls they'll be excited. Pizza night again.
Again. Obviously, he's
Um,
not been at home in a long
yeah, like it's bad. And then Olivia walks in. Sykes
time.
is
Okay,
behind
I'm
her.
always like,
Like, okay, what's going on? And I was like, he's like, I'm talking with Amanda. I haven't been home. I haven't seen her in like 3 weeks. And she's
but
telling me
she
she's
says
fine.
she's fine, and
She
then
says
you're
she's
like,
fine. Or she's just telling me she's fine. Which, like, now we know Carisi is smart enough to understand the difference between the two. And he's finally like realizing like
that
he's
like
starting to
when
realize
somebody tells you they're fine,
something's
particularly
up.
fine
Something's
does
up.
not mean they're fine. It means
She's
more
not
fight.
fine. She's
Fine is
the
not fine. Fine is so you would
second
stop
he
worrying.
says, or she's just telling me she's fine, means he knows that
She's
she's
just
not.
telling you she's fine, but she is not fine because you haven't been home in 3 weeks. You
And he
need
like
some more
goes
nights
into
so you
more
can
and
see
he's
it.
like he just is like tired. And then he looks at Sykes and he's like, why are
Are you
you
here to
here?
torture me?
You're
Are you
torturing
here to
me?
are you here to torture me?
Oh, actually, no. Sykes says something about like, well, I guess like, communication is such and such, or like
Yeah,
something
he's
about
agree.
emotions in a relationship. And he's like,
Mhm.
why are you here? Are you torturing me?
Mhm.
And somebody made the someone made a parallel. It's like cat when
Yeah.
cat BBC stayed, but it's like legit, just like hysterical. Like the fact that he said tortured, like
Mhm.
are you torturing me? Like man, he's done.
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, they talk. They go to trial. They get the verdict. George Burchard is found guilty. Yay! Maddie and her family's relieved. Woo! Um,
Yeah. But of course it can't be like that. That's too easy.
like legit, the episode just started.
It just sort of 5 minutes ago. It can't be that easy.
And then they're like, the judge is like, "Do you want the jury polled?" And Creasy's like, "No, we're fine."
Yeah, we're good.
But George whispers in his lawyer's ear, and the defense is like, yeah, we honored, we would." And so they're going one by one, asking them what your verdict was. And then the girl who was on the fence before immediately jumps up and is like, "It was me. I'm the one who said not guilty, but they basically all made me change my mind."
Mhm.
And legit, like the courtroom is like in shock.
Mhm.
Uh, and then she calls
And how could he not be good?
and yeah, like how can you not be guilty? And like and then Carisi, I mean the judge calls over Carisi and the defense attorney, and she's like, "Well, 20 years on the bench, and I can tell you I've never seen this."
Mhm.
Uh, Chambers, now. But well, first off, she's like, "Well, I have no choice but to declare a mistrial.
Mhm.
But also, you're all coming to my chambers. We need to freaking figure this out."
Yeah, 'cause what the kind of computer?
Um, and like literally, like Carisi's just like pissed and in shock at this point. And the defense attorney is even a little like
Like,
confused.
wait, I'm a
Uh,
little confused.
and I
Why?
don't know why, but they had Rashard in the room too,
Yeah. That's,
which makes no sense to me whatsoever. But
mhm.
so they're talking to the girl, and they're like, the judge is like, "Did you have any connection with him
Yeah, did you
before,
talk to her?
during, or
Yeah,
after
were
the
you?
trial?" Like, "No." "Did you know him beforehand?" "No." She's like, and she's like, "Okay, what is it?" And it's basically like, "Oh, I just the way that the way he looked at me, I
Or
knew."
like,
And she's like,
or like seriously?
"What?" And she's like, "That we were meant to be together."
And I'm like,
And it's like, "Oh my
we're not going through
God,
this again.
we're doing this
We just went through this.
again."
We're going through this again. Sure, it's
And
been
then
like 10, 12 years, but we can't go through this again.
I made the comment though, at the very least, this time she's not a redhead.
Yeah. If you're not watching, then you will not know Callie is the Callie.
Yes. So for once, the crazy love structure is not a redhead.
Yes.
So that's
Yeah.
good at the very least. But literally
Well,
everyone's like, "What?" Because this
they're all
girl's like
confused.
young. Like she's like my age.
Probably,
And
yeah. She's married in like 24, like in their
20s
mid
or
20s,
something. She's
mid
like,
20s.
"Oh,
Like,
I knew we were meant to be." And it's
we're
what?
what do you see in this man? What
Literally,
do you see in him?
only the fact, and I don't like commenting on people's appearances, but
Man, he's not
he's not
good
attractive.
looking. He's very
Also,
young. Also,
like freaking
the
know what
whole
he's on trial for.
he did, kidnap a child and then did indeed sell the child, and then
And
drug the child
then
even before that. Yeah.
I have all the other jurors basically like
They're basically like, we're all ready to go. We couldn't take it anymore.
they're all ready to go. We wanted to go home. And then the main guy who got mad at the girl at the intro was like, um,
I didn't coerce her.
like he was trying to basically like accuse George. It was like he was trying every time he looked at her, he was trying to seduce her. And then that's when the girl's like, I knew I just he looked at me and I knew. And
We're like, oh,
she's like, no, what? She's like, we were meant to be together. And it's like, oh, good Lord. So, of course, we freaking need a mistrial. This girl needs
gotta go
help.
back again. And please give this woman some
And jury is like, everybody's like, what the fuck?
help. We gotta go back again.
Um,
And Carisi has to go break the news to SVU.
yeah. And Olivia is like, and she's like, oh my God, I got a headache. And Curry's like hierarchy of headaches. She's like, and Finn is like, you need an aspirin? She says, extra strength. Basically, she's done.
This
Everybody's
is a lot. Every
confused.
time.
Well, then Maddie's mom, Eileen, walks in and we get more information that, honestly,
It's horrible. It makes it worse.
it's
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 already
worse,
bad, but this makes it worse.
but it's not surprising. It really isn't.
Yeah. No.
Like
This
the fact that we didn't know this beforehand was more surprising. We figured this was gonna happen. Well, we found out that because of somebody had a oxy for like after surgery, and Maddie tried taking it all because she was really sad after the mistrial. And then she like basically like broke down to her mom and said that he had tried to kiss her and touch her body while she was high on the substance that he gave her.
Mhm.
Which, not surprising. This guy is a creep. But what's the surprising part that it's literally coming out now.
Mhm.
But it also helps that, like, Olivia's like, well, that means we have new things to, you know, charge him with.
Mhm.
And and the mom's like, I don't know if Maddie can do another trial. And then Olivia's like, okay, well, we have to like, try. Like, she's strong. We can talk her to this. And
Mhm.
then the mom is like, are you? I thought you were like going to
Mhm.
give up on us. And Olivia's like, giving up.
And
I'm just getting
start.
started.
But yeah,
Um,
he's
and-
just getting started, though. That's the caveat
yeah,
there.
and then she like mentions like, the other girl, Tanya, and like how like, she was like upset that Maddie was touching her, and I was like, oh my God, somehow the fence become a freaking aphrodisiac, just trying to make him jealous. I don't
Mhm.
know, just insane. We've so Maddie talked to her, and she's like, Tanya didn't seem happy. We find out that this disgusting monster took her first kiss.
Yes. This is a 15-year-old.
And because she's like, he kissed me, and Olivia had to unfortunately ask how, and she's like, with his tongue, and it's like, oh great, he freaking took her first kiss. Also freaking took a lock of her hair and keeps it in a pouch that's around his neck.
Um, it's very disturbing. It's just like, why would you want that? Why?
He saved her hair. And
Mhm.
then she goes on and to say that George would give her baths and washed her
Watched her.
down there.
Yeah, that's how she described it, and you all can figure out what that
Yeah. She's 15. That's how 15-year-olds describe it.
is. Yeah.
Well, actually, that's how a lot of people would, but she's like down
Yeah.
there, and
So you can figure out. You're like,
she's Matt Olivia's like, Maddie, why didn't you say anything? She's like, she didn't want her parents to know.
yeah, because they already, she had been, kidnapped and drugged.
And then, Carisi and the guys are listening to this, and we find out, great, new trial, and then Carisi's like, Amanda's going to kill me.
Yeah, he can't be gone no more either.
I can't be gone no more. I gotta do another trial now. Great. And Bruno's like, oh, well, you guys can smooth things out. Finn's like, yeah, talking and communicating is important in relationships. And Carisi goes, says the two divorced guys in the room, and
I know,
walks away
exactly.
like, oh, burn burn, but also,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's not.
So he tries to go give, like, to spare Maddie another child.
Yeah,
We try to go get a deal
we try.
for 25 years and on the registry. And he's like, no, no,
That's
I'm
like the
not
rest of
going.
his life. So they, I mean, that is like the rest of his life.
Get this. And he's like, no, no, I'm not going on the registry. No.
Yeah.
He basically said he was claiming he was trying to cure Tanya while she was with him for no.
He says, I don't know, he says some real weird and creepy. It doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, but he was trying to cure her, and he's like, no, I'm not going on the registry. Um, so,
He like
I
says,
really,
you know what? He kind of
I
starts
really
saying
it
things like,
happens. He's like, nope, sorry, no more, no deal. And
yeah, like,
I like a council, different council.
like,
Um,
what?
and she's like, the guy's like, what? And she's like, it's like, yeah, Your Honor, I like to exercise my right to defend myself. And it's like, oh God,
You
not
can't
again.
do that again. Right, yeah, yeah.
I was like, oh my God, it's like Lewis 2.0. It
Yeah.
really is. Um, and then I think it was either Curry or Sykes that was in the gallery. Sykes, yeah, was in the gallery with Olivia. And she's like, are you ready for him to cross-examine you? She's like, you know what? I can't.
That's Olivia. Olivia says that. You
Yeah,
know what? I can't wait. Yeah.
yeah. I was
It was
like,
like, ooh,
Sykes is the one who's like, are
yeah.
you ready
Somebody
for him to
asked you this. Yeah.
cross-examine you? And she's like, I
Yeah.
can't wait.
Yeah. You're like, oh,
And then it's literally like realizing like not only is he gonna be able to ask Olivia questions,
yeah, that's Maddie.
he's gonna be able to ask Maddie about
What
oh
happened?
God. Hence the Lewis 2.0. And then, there's bail. We freaking find out later, like they're in the middle of the courthouse hallway, that somebody he bailed out. And then Olivia's like, oh my God, who did he call up to put it? Who did he call on to put up their house?
Exactly. Who paid for this? Who paid
Like he freaking made he got somebody to pay freaking $1 million for his
a
bail.
million?
And they're literally she's talking to her mom, and he freaking approaches them in the middle of the freaking courthouse. And Olivia's like, you need to walk away. And then he calls Finn. She calls Finn, and the group is talking. And he's like, yep, yep, okay. And he goes and he's like, Velasco, you're on Berkshire duty. And you can see the look on his face. And he's basically
Mm.
like, why me? Why I gotta do this? And Finn is like, be on his ass 24/7. That's the captain's word, not mine. Um, and then Curry's like, I never been on a stakeout. And then he looks at Finn again and he's like, why? Why me?
Mm.
So they got Velasco and Curry basically
You gotta do
in their
it. Your
car
turn.
watch Brashard to see if
Curry
he
has
does it.
brought some fast food. One of them has brought the fast food.
And freaking Curry brought a freaking neck pillow.
Got some
And
food
Velasco's
and then
like, no, that belongs in an airport, not a stage. That belongs in an airplane, not a stakeout. And I don't think anybody, I don't know why nobody like made more of a note of this because this is the first thing that I mentioned. We see Brashard drawing,
mm-hmm.
and he's drawing the inside of the jury room.
Yes, I didn't notice
Why does
it, but
why does he know what that looks like? He's not supposed to know what that looks like.
yeah, that is a good question.
Like,
It was a little suspicious,
and then
but
he's
we'll
like
see what they take.
watching these kids playing.
Mhm.
And then we get the back at the bureau, and
Jeremy's like,
Olivia's
you need to go home with. She's like, I
weren't
can't go.
talking. He's like, you need to go home. And it's like, no, I
I can't go home.
have so much paperwork to do. She hasn't been home, hasn't had time to do paperwork. Basically, all she has been thinking about is
He's drunk.
um and then um
They're
next
talking, and then
twist of the
the
episode,
husband walks in. That drives me.
the Maddie's dad walk in and they're like, oh, is Maddie okay? And he's like, yeah, that's not what I'm here to talk about.
Mhm.
And she's like, I think George has gotten to my wife. And they're like,
And it looks like
what? Um,
he says, from
and
how it looks,
looks of
Eileen
it,
fell under this.
Eileen has fell under the spell of George hard.
I was
And he
too
shows
sorry. I was like, autocorrect got me far
shows her
on the
shows Olivia
phone.
the phone, and it's legit. They're texting each other,
Is
sending each
and some
other
selfies
pictures. Like,
in the
holy
beds.
fuck. Like
She's
this
in
is
bed. He's in bed. You're like, oh,
this is gross.
yeah. Like,
Like this is a really gross writing
I haven't seen
decision.
it. We haven't seen anything like it. Like,
We've never seen anything like it, but
with
also there
all the
was no
years SVU was on, I've never seen nobody's parent.
yeah, no, but also I really don't think they needed to do it because it was really gross.
It was really like, it wasn't necessary, but
It was
whatever.
necessary.
Yeah.
It was gross. And then Eileen is basically like Olivia goes to talk to her the next day before court, and she immediately like hugs her, and Olivia's
Olivia's
like,
in the bath. Olivia's in the bathroom looking. She like
we
went to
need to,
pictures for
Eileen, we need to talk about this. And she's basically breaking down, and she's like, she was trying to get George like on their side and see what he's
yeah.
doing to
This
Maddie and
is-
whatever. And Olivia's like, he's not one to be toyed with. You need to stop.
yeah.
Um, we get Olivia testifying. Olivia and Carisi, everything goes well, everything's good.
Yeah.
Then it's time for the cross-examine. And George specifically takes the pouch, takes the pouch
Takes
out,
it out of his shirt and has it on the
and
outside.
Olivia can see it, and then says, Captain Benson, that's your name, right? She's like, yes.
Mhm.
And then he's like, no, I have no more questions.
Not further. It's like,
Basically, all he wanted to do was let Olivia know that I have her hair still. Yep.
He could have done a lot more with
Manipulative,
this, but he
manipulative
envisioned a lot.
bastard.
It was a lot, but we imagined worse.
Yeah, we
We
have.
imagined this situation
And
could have gone because he could have asked her like, if you saw, we discussed this before, but like if he had questioned her and been like, if you saw me with her in the tunnel, why didn't you do anything? But we have answers. We would understand why she would do. But
yeah,
that's something he could have asked and did upon, and it would have just been, and
and he didn't. He just chose to intimidate her with the pouch.
yeah, being like, I have
Um,
it.
Instead, he goes full on attack Sykes because he's
Uh-huh.
basically like, "Oh, do you want to tell the jury how you grabbed me
Yeah,
when I was vulnerable and
yeah.
how you were talking about a missing girl in the interrogation and it wasn't Maddie, was it? It was your sister."
Hmm. You're like, how
And
do you know about that?
then she's pretty much just like, "Yes, it was." And I was like, "Damn, that's a low blow."
Hmm.
And then they're talking afterwards, and it's like, uh, we still have a chance after this. Like, because some people like think that Sykes' one went upside down, and Olivia's like, no, Sykes held her own.
Yeah, she's done.
Um, then we have Carisi, and then we have Maddie testify and telling all the new things about the bath and him washing her down there and
Mm.
massaging her back and her chest. And at one point, she's like trying to answer a question, but she like turns her head and she looks at Richard and like her demeanor changes instantly.
Mhm.
And I'm legit screaming at my TV at this point. Crazy, move in front of him.
Mhm.
Because she's not gonna answer your questions if you don't. And it takes
Right.
him but then he finally does. And he's
Mhm.
able to, like, instead of asking her questions, he like calms her down.
Mhm.
And I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was really sweet. It was nice.
Mhm.
And then, basically got everything across. And then
For sure, good stuff.
Richard starts, and he starts doing something, and Carisi says, objection. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to
Trauma.
traumatize her any more than Mr. Carisi has.
You're like,
No, you keep our man out of your mouth.
yeah, keep your. I
And
would
he
have put
goes,
the shirt on, but it's in my cart.
yeah,
I did.
yeah.
I have a lot
Has
of
a
shirts.
Taryn has
I
a
did have the
Carisi.
Rollisy shirt.
I have my Olivia shirt
I,
on. We were
I have
gonna
a lot.
we were gonna do the
Yeah.
thing, but I had my Olivia shirt on. Um, and she goes on to be like, was the well, the 6 weeks with me weren't horrible, right?
You're like,
What's the thing that
"Hmm,
we did that you liked? And it's like, what
you
the
like the
fuck?
star.
He's
Like,
like,
you're
I
like,
like
wait,
the stars, um, and looking them out,
yeah,
looking at them, and he's like, that's not the only thing you liked, right? He's
you
like,
like the bath. And you like,
and it's like, oh, good Lord in heaven. And she, like, I'm thinking she's about to say no. And she's like, no, I liked it a little bit. And it's like, oh, dear Lord in
doesn't matter if
heaven.
he's a child, he's a minor. Doesn't matter if you liked it or not.
And again,
Cry.
my mom kept making the point, as did I. None of this should freaking matter. She's
She's a
15.
child. He's a minor. It
It
is a
doesn't
crime.
matter if her biological reaction was that she liked it. She's 15, and this man is a grown ass adult. It does
Very
not
old, gray,
that
bald.
none of
Yeah.
that matters. The
Wow.
only thing the jury should have to look at is her age and his. Case done. Case closed.
Yeah.
I was like, she's 15. It doesn't matter. And
And then he goes
he
on
goes
to
on
say,
and he
I'm not
says,
a
"Oh,
monster, and I don't
monster."
think Maddie sees me as one.
And Maddie doesn't see me as one. And legit,
You're
it's
like,
like, Tracy, this is when he had a redirect. And I don't remember what he said, but this is when he should have been like, hey, Maddie, remind me, how old are you?
you know, like
15.
exactly, exactly.
Nothing further. Done.
Shut, shut it down.
And I was like, at this point, Creasy's pissed. He's done. He's like, I want to fucking go home, my wife and my kids, and I want to be done with this asshole.
Exactly. Lock him up.
Well, we got
We're not done yet, though.
Velasco and Curry are back in the stakeout watching him. They get a call that freaking Maddie's mom,
Eileen
I
is out.
think, is there. And it's freaking
They're like,
entered the apartment. And it's like, holy shit.
what are you supposed to do? Like, you gotta call the,
And literally she walks in and she has a gun and just pointing it at him.
and then she's like screaming, and you're like,
Screaming, crying, and she's
she wants to kill him because
basically like, my daughter's never
traumatized her.
like
It'd be the same again.
my husband tried to end his life. We're not, our marriage isn't the same. My daughter is never going to be the same because of you. And like, oh my God, reminding everybody that the mom is an amazing actress.
Yeah.
Um, and Olivia is trying to talk to George is trying to talk, like said they were texting. And he's trying to talk to Eileen. And Olivia's like, don't talk to her. And then she's trying to talk to Olivia, and she's like, don't talk to me either. I want to fucking hear anything you have to say. And Finn handcuffs him to the like radiator. He's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, saving your life.
Like, we're about to be it for you.
Saving your life,
She was
asshole.
playing games.
And then she's like, yeah, my daughter will never be the same. She told Finn to go. He does. So it's basically the three of them in the room. And Olivia's like, look, you do this, and you're the one who's going to be going to jail. And she's like, yes, but that's because that's what mothers do. They're supposed to protect their children. And George is like, yeah, you don't have a case against me. And then Olivia's like, she was 15. She had no way to consent for you. Giving her the substances, selling her, nothing.
Oh, we're at the part where Olivia snatched off the pouch.
Oh, yeah.
At first, I
Olivia,
didn't realize you like.
because Eileen is like, I just want her lock of hair back. Legit, that's the only reason she came. And so Olivia's like, all right, cool. Snatches it off her neck,
She snatched.
takes the hair out, gives her the hair,
Yeah,
and like
here's
throws
the
the thing
thing.
back. Like, there, goodbye. There's your
Olivia
trophy.
snatched them.
Goodbye. Your trophy's gone. Your sign of strength is gone. Goodbye.
Mm.
Then we get the closing arguments. And I don't remember what freaking Richard said, but
This is, I don't
basically,
know.
like, that he's
He
not
used some
guilty.
kind of closing argument. It wasn't very convincing or
It
anything.
wasn't guilty, that Maddie enjoyed some of the stuff, that it wasn't horrible, yada yada yada. Tracy, on the other hand, freaking goes on and is like, he abused her when he took her, abused her, and has abused her again by cross-examining her on the stand and mentioning all this stuff.
Mm.
He then
And closing argument is, he
mentions,
says,
oh,
he
oh no, I'm getting things mixed up.
says, he is
So
the worst predator.
during the closing arguments, when George is like, they don't have a case against me, and
Yeah.
Carisi brings up, she's
He goes,
15,
yeah.
did not consent to being given illicit substances or being sold, abused her again, and then
He says, he's the
he
worst predator I can imagine. He is a self-pitying coward who plays the victim. I'm just asking to do the right thing and find this coward guilty on all charges.
And it's like one of those like Peter moments when he's legit, like he's got his angry, firm voice on it. It's just like, ooh. And he looked right at George when he said self-pitying coward. It's like, you tell him. You tell him. Because at this point, everybody's angry and done at this point. And basically, we get the squad going to his office and they're like, congrats, counselor. And he's like,
He's like,
don't
stop. Don't jinx
stop.
it.
Do not jinx my second swing. Well, and then they're like, what's gonna happen with Maddie? And then they're like, well, the gun wasn't loaded, which we did not know at that point, but the gun was not loaded, so
It's
it's
alright.
probably just gonna be
Or
like
misdemeanor.
service, no jail time, not on her
It
record.
won't, you know,
Good. Then we get the jury's verdict in, and legit feels like forever freaking waiting for this verdict. And he is found guilty on all charges.
and he asked, they asked him,
And,
did he want the jury polled
uh,
again? He said no.
and you could like see him think about it for a minute, and he kind of
It's like,
just finally admits defeat. And he's like, no. He knows
like,
he
welcome
knows
up.
it's over. And it's like, thank you, Creasy. Thank God it's over.
Yeah.
And then, the
You
leaving.
know, the people in prison don't like people who harm children. So we'll have
No,
a
we don't.
terrible time.
No,
They don't like those kind of people who harm children. So
no. And then we got people who then, as the family's leaving, Olivia is like, can I borrow Maddie for a bit? They're like, sure. And Olivia brings her to like, she knows it's a therapy office, and Maddie's like, no,
I've
therapy.
done talk therapy before. It doesn't work for me.
And Olivia's like, oh, this is a different kind, and brings her up to the therapist that she has been talking to about Maddie with.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I'll be here no matter how long it takes. You got this. Maddie says, thank you. They hug. She's like,
Yeah.
you got long hug, long hug.
Mm-hmm. Long
Uh, Olivia sits down, leans back, and takes a deep sigh. And
Yeah, and that's the
so
last shot.
there were people who were like, this is
People didn't thought the ending was weird because they're like, you'd have to have parents' permission to do such. But maybe she could have asked. We don't really know because they don't have time for all the details of the nitty
yeah,
gritty.
they literally just we just said they borrowed her. They don't know what they were, but we don't know what they said it. But
Of
also
course, you
with
have to have permission. This is a TV show. Okay.
it should be like it's like kind of weird that you're like bringing her to your therapist that you've been
Yeah,
talking
that's a little weird.
to
Yeah, that's
her
kind of weird.
about this girl for like months.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
So
But, this is a TV show, so it can do whatever they want to do. It doesn't have to be
all right,
accurate.
what do we give this?
4.5 5 stars. I like this.
Good. Very good one.
Very nice. Close the arc.
Yes, the arc is over.
Fine. Took a long time. Got
Took
the
a
episode
long time, but
and
it was good. Um, and then for next week,
next week's very exciting. Well, it's not
Ellie's
next week, it's week after next, but we are very excited about. It's called Prima
Ellie's
Nocta on May 2nd. It's called Prima Nocta. It says a runaway bride calls SVU for help on their day on the help on the day of her wedding. Rollins pitches in on her day off.
And so the promo is freaking awesome.
It is. It has the bride and then
It has the bride. We see the bride running away, her wedding ring,
yeah,
running win on the
yeah,
ground, her talking to Olivia and being like,
yeah,
I was assaulted.
yeah, yeah.
Then we
And then
see
Amanda at the shooting range.
at the shooting range. Hell
It's like,
yeah.
ooh,
Has not missed a beat. Still can shoot for her life.
yeah.
And then something along the lines of, oh, and then we got a small little snippet picture of Rollins and
I
Carisi
put
next
the
to each other.
playback speed correctly so I can hear. Playing it too slow, I don't know what they're saying.
Carisi next to each other in the precinct.
If you don't know what prima nocta is, I had to Google it, and it's not good.
It's not good.
Basically, it was an old practice where hold on, to tell you accurately, it's the wrong thing. I had to go Google it because I was like, I don't know what that means.
It's not good.
It's not good. When was that? Prima nocta. Basically, it was in medieval rights. Basically, on the night before our girl's wedding, any feudal lords could,
Do
sleep with
what
her
they wanted.
the night before her wedding. So that's why it's the SVU title. So that's what happened.
Yeah,
Yep.
basically.
Zoom's gonna explode. So
this bride was made
yeah,
like really, yeah. And then we can see Amanda's like, oh, they're gonna find a way to ruin somebody's happiness, and it's like you can tell she misses this. Yeah,
we're just
and
coming to crossings. Oh, how does it edit it together?
okay, we're back. Just one more SVU thing. Peter Scandavino has been doing some interviews recently.
All so good.
Very good.
They're all good.
The first one was about like Releasy and like things he wanted to see with Releasy. And first he's like, well, and this is legit what he said. Like we can't. He's like, oh, it wouldn't be bad to see like, Carisi get kidnapped and then Amanda wanting to get her man back. Excuse me. Excuse me?
Like, sorry. That's in the drafts, by the way. We just have to focus that story. You're like, you've been reading our drafts. Have you been reading our draft?
Sir.
Reading the drafts. Did you get access to the drafts? That is in the draft. That wasn't a joke. 100% that is in the draft. It's just not published.
It is. But legit the fact that like, the interviewer is like, what would you do? And that's the first thing he freaking thought of.
Yep, that's what I want. It would be interesting to see. Wild.
What if he got kidnapped and Amanda had to get him back? Excuse me.
Uh,
Don't get me wrong, that would be amazing, but why is that the first place your head goes?
That's the first one. He said, "Yep, that'll be it."
And then his other thing was, or just, seeing them at home and him being like, okay, I'm putting the lawyer away. And then, having some
Be a
time at
dad.
home. Yes, give me the dad life. Give
Yes,
me, give me,
I just
give me.
want him. I just want him having like the baby harness with Nikki Shuck and shit while he's doing stuff.
Yes,
That's
please
what
show him holding his kid, holding the kid. We've been waiting for this for years.
I think we're supposed to be seeing the baby again soon because there was at some point, maybe a month or so ago, where they were casting calling for an infant. One person that got an infant.
Yeah, so hopefully episode 11 gives us that.
Yes, gives me. Well, he says, and also in the interviews that like there's a lot of like domestic release. He just doesn't know how much he was getting cut out for the so purpose. But there's
So
some to
give me
look
the
forward to.
deleted scenes, y'all.
There is
Um,
some to look forward to, y'all.
and that he also said that, like, working with Kelly has been such a great gift, which is
Mm,
so sweet.
yes.
And how the other thing, there was something else that I was gonna say. Oh, there was like, oh, it was funny. It was another one where, like, before Lacey became a thing, he had like
He didn't
people
know
telling
about shipping. He learned about shipping.
people were like, oh, they ship you too. And he's like,
What?
what's that?
What is
And
that?
he legit had to Google it. And he's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, okay, so I'm hip. I know the lingo now. It's
It's
like somebody's being a dad.
it's-
Somebody's being a dad. Like legit in real life and on the show, which is
yeah.
super cute. That he has three
Yeah.
kids. Oh my God.
He doesn't.
Oh, I just realized this.
Yeah.
Both him and Kelly have three children in real life
Yeah.
and on the show. Oh, that's so freaking sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute. Um, yeah, and then there's another article where it was talking about the finale and how he said that we're gonna see some familiar faces and things are gonna come full circle.
Yes.
Sir, please, please,
Here's
please.
another one that I sent you just sent you. Where he says, I've seen a lot of stuff. I gotta scroll. I
We
save
want
this
it to
stuff
be.
off.
We're hoping
Where
the
he
familiar
says,
is Barba because
it's
Roll is in New York.
we're fingers crossing. He says he's not allowed to. He says as for if it ends on a cliffhanger, yes and no. I'm not gonna say any more about it. Um,
But yes, basically he
then
wants
go ahead,
domestic.
stop it. Yes, he says that there's some of that. There's
He
courtroom,
wants
there's stuff.
domestic dad life as a dad,
Yes.
and he wants this. He loves working with.
Where did
And
he
he
said
wants
something about
that.
he said something about that. He said
And he's starting to
where
realize that Amanda may not be so thrilled with her job, and
yeah,
that they
he's finally
like
realizing it.
navigate it as a couple and as a family.
Mm-hmm. He talk and this currently talks about like Carisi's become more confident as a person, not just as a lawyer or a cop. He said as a person, which is we're very excited for that.
Yes, we can't wait for that.
Where's
Also,
the other? There's another one where he says something else, particularly
legit,
about
a lot of stuff lately, interviews
he's been saying
lately.
a lot of stuff recently. Sir, um, he says it particularly. It's for particularly one character. I can't remember which one he says it in. He said particularly it comes one full circle for one character specifically. He doesn't say who it is, so we will see what he means. So yeah, we're hopefully we will be we are on our spring. No, we're so good. Three more. We got three more. So
Okay, cool.
we
So
gotta get to
that's
the
that.
mothership, and then we
Hold
like
on.
recorded everything we needed to.
I'll be back.
Of course, Kyler has. So today's a ramble since I'm here on my own. Uh,
I'm back in my
I mean you
shirt.
can hear. I mean you can hear me, but if any of you have been watching this podcast for a long, long time, you know this same spot has been the spot where I originally recorded the podcast all the time between there and the study room. And it's still between my room and study room. But this particular angle I don't use as much because the bed is one more comfortable than this chair.
I
So
got stuff sure.
Kylie said she's stuck in her shirt. So well, I can't help but we live in separate states. She's just stuck. But yep, college is almost done. It'll be done in 13 days. And it's been a wild journey. And part of the journey is, Callie and I met my first year of college. And this is my last year of college. So, it's all coming full circle for us as friends. Um, goes in for me, what's next in my life. And like that doesn't we're still gonna be busy making content. I don't know what we're gonna do this summer, but we'll make content, making YouTube content, um, creating stuff, doing stuff. Cause it makes us happy to do this, Hopefully, need more consistent about getting it fixed out because we've been writing a lot of stuff, not posting a lot of stuff. Okay. The drafts is long, but we actually are gonna publish something soon. No, we say this every episode. They'll publish soon. But I think we're sometime this week we probably will
And
put
we'll
out
actually and
the resistance chapter, which is already like 30K words because we left it since September. So like that's been stockpiling little by little since September. So like 30K words. So you better buckle in when you're ready to read that. Get your snack, get your juice, whatever you want to drink. Get cozy in your bed.
you're a
Um,
adult if need be.
yeah, get you some tissue. Maybe you might need some. Can't confirm or deny. I don't know what else you're gonna need.
I felt
Whatever else you did fall over. So whatever else you need to get buckled in with us, because a couple of our friends were like, "That stick is really good. I never thought about that AE before. I can't wait to know what happens next." We're like, I don't know.
you really want to know because of
Do you really want to know? Because it's not good. It's never good.
it's not. It's really not.
It just, but that's part of the storytelling aspect of this story in particular is that like it gets worse. It has to
Like
get worse for it to get better.
it's
That's
storytelling good, but it's not like it's bad. Like
Yeah,
it
bad.
not
Perpetually bad.
bad thing.
It never hits the end goal. It will eventually. There'll be two paths by the being like the good path and the bad path. And there's both still a lot of story both
We have
ways.
so much for the good path.
And there's a lot for the bad path also. That turns eventually the bad path kind of gets better
Becomes
also, but
turns
it's
better,
just
but it
takes
gets
longer to get
it's
better.
bad before it's good. Okay.
Yeah.
Mothership.
But no anyway, that was our writing tangent of the day. So get buckled in. We'll publish something soon for you.
It's called Inconvenient Truth.
Yes.
It's a good one. Um,
Mm,
and basically it starts with like they're in a restaurant and the chef is checking on his patrons and like making sure their food is good. They're like,
yeah.
yes, it's amazing. And then this dude walks in to like talk to him, and his name is Cheese.
You're like, bro,
Legit.
why is it? But
To
okay.
talk,
We don't judge
and
here.
the chef is like, "Oh, good to see you. Like, you need to go. Like, I'm working." And the guy is like, "Oh, what do you mean?" And then his one of his waiters comes over, and Cheese like pushes him, and basically it's like, "All right, fine, we'll deal with this later." And then the chef is found dead.
Yeah.
He dead.
That's how the intros in the mothership is. It's like fight or argument dead.
Yep. Um. Then they're talking about like things and how he legit got a knife to like his chest. And they see a sign and it says eat like it's his slogan is eat like it's your last day on earth. And Reed not Reed, Riley says that's a catchy statement until it's true. Dun dun. And then we find out that the guy he was talking to last night, Cheese, his actual name is Nick Perez. Who are the Brooklyn Vipers, which is like a gang.
Okay.
Um, he says he was at his apartment. Um, the so he didn't do it. But he's like, yeah, people kind of have things against him. And they're like, why? Well, we find out this guy had recently been, oh, they like first find out he has a daughter, so they have to go tell the daughter that her father's dead. And she goes into detail of like people, not everybody likes him. We find out he was recently exonerated for a crime he did not commit. And it
Mm.
was a bad crime too. It was the art and murder of a little girl. It's like, holy crap. And they legit go back to the precinct and they're telling Dixon, and she's like, what? What?
It's very
Shocking. I
shocking.
know. I was shocked too. Um, and so they're talking to then they go talk to the one of the lawyers for the trial, and
Mhm.
basically it was this, you know, black man up
Yeah.
against a affluent white girl. And the attorney looks right at Shaw and says, you know how that goes.
Mm.
And Shaw's like, mm-hmm. Uh, well, we find out you know, so they're like, oh, maybe it was the dad. It wasn't, because the dad, like, he realizes he is the reason that I forgot whatever his did I ever write his name down? Oh, Jordan is the chef's name. He's the reason that Jordan ever ended up in prison in the first place. Um, that, if he's the one who said that Jordan did it to his daughter, and that's the reason why Jordan ended up in prison. So he was trying to help him get back on his feet afterwards. And um yeah. Um so he doesn't blame Jordan for what happened to his daughter, even though back then he did. Now he realizes it's a mistake. We get a scene where Baxter is talking to Shaw and Riley, and he goes into this like tirade of how
Mm.
exoneration trials are like thrilling and challenging. And I'm like, sir, just hold pause. Like, do you
Yeah. They're like, oh,
not see what the issue is right now?
mm.
And it's like, and it says that only two trials he ever lost in his career were exoneration trials, which goes to say, wow, he's a really good lawyer, but also people will believe what they want to believe about
Yeah. Like you got
certain,
enough money, people believe anything.
yeah, certain people's verdicts and whatnot. So he
Mm.
only got one. Um, and then Shaw's like, yeah, powerful people hate admitting that they're wrong.
Yup.
So he hired a lawyer, and the lawyer got him exonerated, and the lawyer was very good.
Mhm.
And he got so much so that Jordan was awarded a $10 million settlement with the city when he sued. Problem is, he only got $1.1 million of it, and the rest went to his lawyer.
Yeah,
So they
that's
went to talk to his lawyer, and basically the lawyer's like, yeah, I had fees and things. Like, I'm
but
good,
that's
but
a
my,
lot. That doesn't make sense. That seems excessive.
my work does not come cheap. And they're like,
Yeah.
so you got the 8 point something rest of it?
No, that
Oh,
seems a lot. Oh.
yeah. And then we get like phone conversations, and Jordan has apparently said that his lawyer conned him out of $3 million.
Mhm.
And the issue right now is that the judge, I mean, the lawyer, is supposed to possibly be appointed as a judge. So they have to go arrest him. They're talking to him. They see an Islanders hat on his table, which is important because when they were asking the waiter if he saw anything, he said he saw somebody in an Islanders hat and a shiny green jacket. Islanders
Yep.
hat house, take him in.
Yep.
Um, and then they go back to talk to the waiter, and they're like showing the pictures, and they're like, "Do you see anybody you recognize?" And he points to Palmer, and he's like, "Yeah, he came in a lot to talk to Jordan and have dinner with his wife." And he's like, "Okay, can you point to the person that you saw running from the restaurant the other night?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he points to Palmer again. And so the defense attorney tries to throw it out because, like, he knew him prior,
Yep.
but Nolan
That was
argues to keep it in. Um, they then they have a press conference. Um, and I forget what somebody said, but somebody like made a comment, and he like immediately turned around and he's like my only job right now is to get justice for this man who was killed, etc., etc. Um, then they put his daughter on the stand, and she is very good. She's like very by the book, by the fact, etc. Then the defense attorney stands up and he starts asking her about, did you know your father did such and such when he was in jail? And Nolan is like, objection, we didn't know about any of this prior. And then she goes, my father has been through enough. How dare you drag him through the mud? Um, and the judge is like, okay, everybody in my chambers now.
Yep.
Jury will disregard that comment. We're gonna go talk. And, basically the defense attorney, who, Palmer was kind of smart, hired a black defense attorney to defend
Mhm.
him, because to say that he did not kill a black man. Um, then the judge is like, this goes to like his credibility and everything, and like, his past, and proving that it could have very well been somebody from prison, not my client. And Nolan is like, Your Honor, how many times do we need to destroy this man? Well, the judge buys it and keeps it in to basically create reasonable doubt. The chef goes on the stand and it's just like points out the green jacket and the hat. And then the defense attorney is like, did you have any alcohol that night? He's like, no. Did you smoke that night? He's like, a little. And of course, Price and Sam did not know that. So they're both just like, crap. Um, and he's like, oh, so you're not sure the defense attorney's like, oh, so you're not sure you saw my client, but you saw somebody in an Islanders hat and a green jacket. And the guy's like, yeah. Um, and they literally like bring him back to the restaurant to like explain things. And he's like, it kind of like his thing basically like crumbled. Like he's like, oh yeah, it was a little fuzzy, but yes, I saw him there, and it's like, okay, like things aren't adding up at this point. And then they put the judge on the stand, and we find out that through like traffic tickets and whatever, that he ran a red light 6 blocks away. So he couldn't have been at the restaurant during the time of the murder. And legit, everyone's just like, what do we do? And Nolan goes to Baxter and he's like, it wasn't him. I don't think it was him. Like it's not. Um And he's basically like, look, you can believe what you want, and it's an imperfect process. It really is, but it's the best one we got. So we need to keep going. But Nolan isn't having it. So they go to Rikers and they talk to Palmer and they say they're dismissing the charges. And Nolan is like, and he's like, so you finally believe that I didn't do this? And then Nolan is just like, I can't prove it's you. You know, they leave. We
Yeah.
think it's all done. And then we have Violet and Shaw listening through like headphones to a phone call because phone calls in prison they're recorded. And Shaw's like, well, Price's little plan worked because we find out from the phone call of um Palmer talking to his wife that it was a Palmer that did it.
Yeah. But it wasn't that one.
It wasn't the husband, it was the wife. And they had the
Yeah.
wife confessing on the phone call.
Yeah, and
So
she did.
and they have a little montage of while Baxter's giving a press conference literally at the courthouse that night with Price and Sam next to him. They're showing that wife Amanda being arrested.
Hmm.
Explaining that she basically did it because she thought, he was gonna bring up all these grievances in regards to the money about her husband and get him in trouble. So she decided to do this before he could. And
Hmm.
so the basically like the message of the episode is it's not always how it seems. Like
Yeah.
Jordan had to change his name so people wouldn't keep connecting him with this case of this
Which he did
horrible
not do.
that he did not do, even though he was convicted of it and then realized it wasn't. And that, yeah, the whole time everyone thought his lawyer did it. In reality, it was his wife. So
Hmm.
everything is not always as it seems. And I think it was a
Nope.
very interesting message for them to point out.
Hmm.
I give it 3 stars. Wasn't good, wasn't bad.
And it was all right. I was at a party when it first came on, so I didn't see it the first time. Then I watched it the second time. For some reason, the mothership, I can't like soak it in if I watch it the second time. It doesn't like
It
get
was
in
like
here.
it was interesting. It was definitely an
I
interesting
watched it
way
again, but I couldn't like get it in.
to do it. All right, what's next week? No, not next week, but next time. 'Cause I don't-
Um, Castle in the Sky. Hold on. Called Castle in the Sky.
Oh, we love
Um,
titles.
um, Open Link. I didn't watch. It says when a real estate agent developer is found dead in one of his buildings, Sean Riley um sift through a long list of suspects. Concerned with the welfare of the defendant's young daughter, Dixon and her son plead with Price Maroon for help.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Cameron had done an interview recently where we finally get to
No,
meet
this, yeah, meet and
Dixon's
meet.
son,
Yeah,
um, who we know from
it's
prior
death.
episodes is deaf. His name is Patrick, and they finally did something right, and they hired a deaf actor to play her son. Good on
Yes,
them for
yeah,
once. And we know that Cameron actually knows
sign language.
ASL.
Yes,
So, um, it'll be interesting to see. I'm excited to meet the son and see
yeah,
their dynamic and see how the you know seeing the conversation between them
hmm.
in ASL. I think the case is basically like the little girl in the
Might be
case
the
is
witness.
what?
I don't know. They don't really say the
I'm
guy's
just
protecting his
remembering
daughter.
from the article that I saw, and I don't remember what the
Yeah.
article is. Little girl is actually one of her son's students. He's like a teacher
Mm.
apparently, which is cool.
Well, that's good.
All right. Yeah, so that's what we have to look forward
That's
to.
all
We
I
get
got.
more little background knowledge on people.
Got some good episodes ahead.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys. I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it. This is a lot. Literally, this is a lot of time recording. I'm recording it, so you know.
No, stop it. No, you're gonna make me cry again.
Yep.
This is where it started, guys. I
It's where it
can't.
started. We've been friends for 3 years. We've been doing this podcast for 2. So where we are. Come a long way. We're still here. And literally, I tell you, Callie is my best friend. We literally talk too much time. We wake up to talk to sleep. So I could make her cry if I really wanted to, really, really hard. But I can very clearly see she's tearing up. So we'll stop for now. For now.
Yeah, I gotta. Okay, no crying right
We
now.
we've been
None.
into cartoon. What else we doing in our while we haven't been writing. We are writing a lot.
Yeah,
We
we're
started
gonna
watching My Little
keep
Pony
writing after
again.
this.
So yeah, I introduced you to My Little Pony, and we watched it quite a
Yes,
bit.
yes. This is literally our friendship. We watched shows we
We,
watched when we were children,
we
and
watched them again.
are
Play
living
video
our
games.
because our adult lives suck.
I literally have My Little Pony blanket on. We started playing Stardew Valley the other day. Now
Yes,
we'll
and
farm.
so far, I still don't get it, but we'll get
We
there.
haven't gotten to we are on like day 5. We haven't done all they won't we have to meet all the people, then we're free. Once we meet all the people, you get more specific things to do.
Okay,
We're
good,
done.
because I'm so confused.
We're it's because we're still meeting the people. Once we meet all the people, like we should give you a checklist of people you met because if you don't know where they are, then you spend like days doing this and you can't do anything else until. So we will find all the people
All
we
right,
need to
we'll see
meet.
you guys next time. Thanks
Yep,
for
I'm gonna finish
listening.
editing. Thanks for listening.
Say
Love you,
goodbye to
babe.
Titan's dorm room.
Literally, we never you literally next to move back in my house.
Bye.
Yeah. Yep. And
Oh, I'm
the
a
show will
big
still move on.
cry
The show
right now,
goes on.
guys.
If the show keeps going on, y'all, we will keep going as long as there's law and order. So, it'll be different. We will still be making content because it'll be fun to make content. We'll make YouTube videos because the summertime is a little bit dry for Law and Order. So, we have to come up with other things to entertain.
But it literally means we don't really have to do much. So
Yeah. So we will find out what we will do. And we thank you all for listening.
thank
And
you.
we
Bye
will see you
bye.
all. Bye. We'll see you all next time. Goodbye.
Yes.
Love you all. Don't forget to like, subscribe on YouTube. Like and subscribe to the
I was
podcast.
like, wait
Leave
a
us a
minute.
rating on Spotify. I have to give this school every time. It's necessary. Like and subscribe because gotta get the YouTube partnership, please, so we can get play ads, so we can make money. Now we're literally do this for free, so
Let this be my job.
yes, literally, or you can make a lovely donation to the podcast and then linked in the description below. So that's all
We
we
love
got.
you all. Thank
We
you
love
for
you
listening.
all. Thank you for listening. We will be back next time. I'm gonna get a bacon grilled cheese
Bye.
in the next hour. Bye everyone. Goodbye.